We appreciate your comments. They don't just make our show, they make our show better. Thanks for allowing us into your homes. So long for now. CH News is next.
It has been a Hamilton institution for almost a century. One of the city's major employers, a major economic driver, and scene of some especially bitter labor disputes. Now, after 20 months of court protection, time could be about to run out for the company. Jobs, pensions, and Hamilton's economy are all on the line. CH News at 6 starts right now.
From the Hamilton, Holton, and Niagara News Center, this is CH News at 6.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dan McLean, and it looks like this is crunch time for Stelco. The big Hamilton steelmaker has just a matter of hours to wrap up agreements with some of its major stakeholders, or a Toronto bankruptcy judge says this could be what he calls a splat. That could mean the worst for Stelco, possibly even the end of the company. For the latest on this major story, and for Hamilton and Canada, here is CH's Al Sweeney, who's been following this story today.
CEO Courtney Pratt left a Toronto bankruptcy court wondering, like a lot of people, exactly what the judge meant by the word splat and afraid of what it could mean.
I don't know.
Does this mean he could push Stelco into bankruptcy tomorrow?
I really don't know what he means. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny. I don't know what he means when he says it.
Are you afraid of that possibility?
No, I'm very concerned about what's going to happen. Yes, I am, but I don't. But what it means, I don't know.
On Tuesday, Stelco announced a breakthrough agreement to get the company out of bankruptcy protection and protect its pension fund. But there were a number of conditions. Among them, new contracts with unions in Nanticoke on Lake Erie and Edmonton by 9:30 Thursday morning. In court, well after 9:30, Stelco's lawyer reported no agreement on the labor front. And Justice James Farley let them have it. After 20 months in bankruptcy protection, he said Stelco and its stakeholders, the people involved in this company, think they have all the time in the world and they can continue to dance. But in his words, the music is stopping. Stelco asked for more time. Justice Farley said not likely. And he said this situation is a splat. People better get serious. As it stands, Stelco's bankruptcy protection expires at midnight Friday. Justice Farley is indicating it might not get another extension, raising the possibility of bankruptcy for the steelmaker. Outside the court, steelworkers were outraged.
Kangaroo court!
The head of the big Hamilton local says the court is pushing this situation to the brink and using threats to force workers into concessions.
Oh, it's outrageous that they can talk like that about splatting the largest steel company in Canada that's had 6 profitable quarters and the potential to make hundreds of millions of dollars, and that they could even talk about wiping out the largest steel company in Canada.
While the Lake Erie local of the steelworkers went back into negotiations to try to get one of those critical union contracts. From what the judge is saying there, you have to do it by tomorrow, is that the case?
Seems so.
You think you can do it?
Like I say, when parties are agreeable, you can do it in a couple of hours. It's yet to be seen.
Okay. Whether this is just brinksmanship and threats by the courts, or whether Stelco's future really is at risk, the stakes here are enormous. Dan?
Al, the provincial government put up $100 million for the Stelco Pension Fund. That happened just a couple of days ago, earlier this week, in order to get that agreement going on Tuesday. What does the province have to say about these latest developments as of this afternoon?
Well, a spokesman for Finance Minister Greg Sabara says the offer of $100 million still stands, at least for now. He says the province is monitoring the situation. He says stakeholders are holding talks, and the province is in touch with them almost on an hourly basis. And the Steelworkers Union says its lawyers were told today to stand by tonight in case they get a phone call to get back to work with that deadline looming. Dan?
No doubt a story we're going to be following right through to the bitter end, whatever that may be in the next few days ahead. Al, thank you for that information from Toronto today. Meanwhile, many Stelco workers seem optimistic about the future of their company tonight, despite the lack of a restructuring plan. Many we spoke to believe the company will survive.
No, I think there's longevity. I think it'll go on. I think we have a life left in us. They just have to get their information together, have to get their cells together and move it forward.
Yeah, why not? I'm an employee, right? So I'm concerned about it.
Really? It's been going on way too long. That's all.
Are you concerned about bankruptcy?
No, not really.
Are you worried about the company going bankrupt?
Not at all. I don't think they will.
Why is that?
Nah, I've been here a long time. I just don't think so.
Well, so if Stelco does go splat, what does that mean to the Hamilton economy? Nick Dixon is live at the DeGroote School of Business at McMaster tonight, where he's getting some answers for us. And Nick, what are you hearing?
Well, you know, Dan, I'm here now with Marvin Ryder from McMaster's DeGroote School of Business, and Marvin is going to give us a little bit of a flavor of what his take is on all of the day's events and the whole splat scenario.
Yes. I don't know why the judge would have chosen that word. We're not at splat yet. We're 30 hours away from splat. It all depends upon now some tough negotiating in these last hours.
What do you think this could mean? I mean, it's a lot of ifs now. Of course, you said 30 hours away, but if Stelco is bankrupt this time tomorrow, perhaps, what does it mean?
Well, I think first thing, the creditors would have to move in and start demanding payment of their notes. I think then the company would try to sell some assets and cover it, probably see some fire sales, and yes, ultimately, probably the end of the company the way we would know it. Fire sales, all that means is other people would buy the assets and start it up. Would it be the same employees with the same wages, producing the same products? Probably not. But we'd still see some steel in the area.
So what you just touched on there, I think, is a key issue, and what a lot of our viewers are thinking about tonight is, what could this then mean to Hamilton if there's a bankruptcy, if there's a fire sale? What could that mean to our economy here?
Well, huge things. It's one of the top 10 employers in the city. It's probably number 4 or 5. We're talking thousands of workers, and then the money that they spend, whether it's for Christmas presents, for grocery shopping, trickling down through all the commerce. It is a desperate thing for a city of our size to lose an employer like that. Interestingly, it makes the move by Maple Leaf to try to move into Hamilton that much more important now if you lose 5,000 on one side and get 3,000 back the other way.
Right. Now, last question here, what you were just talking about there. Are you a betting man? And if you were, what do you think the odds are on this?
I like the chances of this still coming through. I was a little surprised today that some key board members weren't there to make approvals today. I'm sure they're back in town now. I think if there's been substantial progress, that's going to be my weasel word here. The judge is going to give them some more time to bring it together. I don't think the government's going to pull the plug on them. No one wants to see this thing go splat.
Right. Okay. Marvin Ryder, thanks for your time. Maybe we'll catch up with you tomorrow and get some insight then. Thanks for that. Again, Dan, the clock is ticking, and we'll have some updates on this tonight at 11. Back to you.
No doubt about that. Thank you, Nick, for that information, and thank you to Marvin Ryder as well. And some facts about Stelco. It was formed in 1910 by the amalgamation of 5 companies, and as of December 31st, 2004, Stelco employed 7,658 people. And according to its most recent financial statement, the company has made $89 million so far in 2005. And here is where Stelco stock ended trading today at 16 cents. More than 9 million shares changing hands. The bottom fell out of Stelco stock Tuesday after word of the possible restructuring deal. We'll have your other business figures in just a few moments here on CH News at 6 for this Thursday evening. Well, it's been years, decades, since gasoline was cheap. Prepare to dig deep if you need to fill up right now. Gas prices fluctuated wildly across our region today. Late this afternoon, the unthinkable happened. This Pioneer station in Winona smashed through the $2 a liter mark, charging drivers $2.15 for a liter of gasoline. Just a few kilometers away in Grimsby, another Pioneer station was selling gas for less than half that price. Drivers lined up to cash in on what now seems like a bargain, gas at $1.04 per liter. But the bargain won't last. The owner of this station expected to run out of gas before the start of this newscast. And lineups are also a familiar sight in Hamilton tonight. As you can see in this live shot from downtown Hamilton, Canadian Tire is doing steady business. Everyone's wondering just how high gas prices will go. The CH's Adam Atkinson explains you can blame Hurricanes Katrina and now Rita for this current volatility.
$1.04 seems like a steal right now and worth lining up for.
That's why I'm filling up right now.
The spike in gas can be blamed on the many Gulf Coast oil refineries that were damaged by Hurricane Katrina, while others are shutting down in preparation for Rita.
The gasoline supply situation is very tight normally, but when you had 4 refineries go down in Louisiana, they're still down, and you've got the 2 largest refineries in North America shut down as we speak.
The NDP transportation critic says it's the oil companies gouging motorists, and the province should step in and freeze the price of gas.
Listen, we've done it before. Bill Davis, back in the mid-1970s, froze the price of gas for 90 days at the behest of then leader NDP Stephen Lewis, in order to tell gas companies you can't jerk the price around like this.
I think people know what's in our platform. They'll know that that was not in our platform. We believe the most important thing that we could do at this point in time is call upon the Federal Competition Bureau to conduct an investigation.
When the price of the pumps jumped to more than $1.30 a liter following Hurricane Katrina, people still paid.
Let's face it, we have to use our cars, right? So they've got us. There's not much we can do about it.
What can you do? You have to buy the petrol. You have to carry on as usual.
Well, I think it's really high, but I have to commute to go to school, so I'll pay it whatever it is, unfortunately.
At gastips.com, the price in Hamilton and Niagara ranges from just below $1 a liter to a little under $2. Adam Atkinson, CH News, Hamilton.
Well, it's been nearly 24 hours since a public forum on Hamilton Police Chief Brian Mullen's controversial trip to Israel degenerated into chaos. And as Laurent Sabrin reports today, all sides are assessing what went wrong.
It was intended to be a public forum on Police Chief Brian Mullen's trip to Israel, a forum attended by both Palestinian and Israeli supporters.
So you're censoring me.
But the meeting quickly degenerated into a shouting match when Susan Howard-Azay of the Niagara Palestinian Association began showing these pictures.
It was only after they saw that we were showing pictures of Israeli police officers behaving in a very unprofessional and brutal manner were they asking us to turn off the PowerPoint.
Don't touch me! Don't touch me!
Howard-Azay grabbed the mic from Police Board Chair Bernie Morelli.
And he wasn't looking at me, he wasn't listening to me, so in a very uncharacteristic manner, I grabbed his mic in order to tell him I was willing to suspend the PowerPoint presentation.
Then a number of Palestinian supporters stormed out.
I think the entire event was ill-designed. The board didn't do a good job in terms of anticipating what could go wrong. And in such a volatile condition where you have emotions running high, you can expect the worst.
If there's any consensus among everyone involved, it was this forum was a big mistake.
Obviously, last night, you would see it was disrespectful, and obviously in that forum we can't accomplish anything.
The police should have been more proactive in terms of hearing those complaints and hearing them in such a way that would allow officially formal people who complained to be able to voice their opinions without having to open up the forum to people to come from all over, all over Ontario. It's a Hamilton issue, and it should have stayed that way.
In fact, representatives from both sides are traveling all over Ontario. A number of police chiefs did go to Israel. Palestinian supporters have lodged complaints with every police services board involved. Laurent Sabrin, CH News, Niagara.
Well, late this afternoon, Niagara Regional Police arrested Susan Howard-Azay's husband, Baran Azay, and charged him with uttering death threats against a member of the Jewish community. Threats allegedly made during last night's meeting. Well, members of Hamilton's Jewish community didn't have a chance to make their presentations before the meeting ended last night. Dr. Lauren Finkelstein, a member of the Strengthening Hamilton Community Initiative, joins us now live from our newsroom. And Lauren, I must ask you, where did the meeting come off the rails last night in your estimation?
Dan, I'll use the example of SHC. That is the mayor's official city's committee to fight racism. It's an anti-racist committee. Many people from different backgrounds, religions, nationalities, colors, gender preferences sit together regularly. We've learned that dialogue together, learning who we are together, helps fight racism. Personal relationships develop. Many times we may not agree with somebody's concepts, but we never degenerate into vicious debate. We respect each other's rights to have different opinions. Out of this has developed a very close relationship between myself and Mr. Javid Mirza, the president of the Hamilton Muslim Association. And we've worked together collaboratively on many different issues. The Hamilton Muslim and Jewish communities have become quite close. We have so many things in common, and we don't let Middle East politics interfere with our lives here, which is one of the things I keep saying, and many do, at the SHC. What happens in other countries elsewhere should not impact on our relationships in this city. Now, I am a bit perplexed about the issue of Chief Mullen's trip, the protest about it. because last year, when I assisted the Muslim Association in obtaining health care for this Afghan boy, with the consent of Mr. Mirza and his Muslim Association, I approached the Hadassah Hospital in Jerusalem. Yeah. They immediately offered medical care for this boy with the gratitude of the Muslim Association. So if in fact medical expertise from Israel is accepted willingly, why in fact cannot somebody visit Israel, like 30 police chiefs, to learn about their expertise on fighting or countering terrorism?
Lauren, one more quick question for you. Was it appropriate, because this was addressed in the report that we just had on as well, that people from other regions like Toronto and Niagara were in attendance in this meeting as well? What is your thinking on that?
I think that there's a very well-staged effort to disrupt the meetings, which is very unfortunate. Many people from both sides had viewpoints that were very rational. They wanted them to be heard. The police chief was owed that respect, that these views should be aired publicly or privately, but should be aired peacefully. That option was denied to everybody who was there with good intention to speak peacefully and respect each other.
Well, maybe we can fix things and get this meeting to work that works out for everybody. Dr. Lauren Finkelstein, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you
for your comments. To other news now, a Hamilton business in the city's downtown core has closed its doors at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Hamilton Motor Products served its last customer on Main Street. And as CH's Cindy Chordash tells us, HMP is moving up onto the mountain, where the owner says his business will have a better chance of surviving.
Realistically, the downtown has deteriorated to the point where people don't like to come into downtown.
Hamilton Motor Products is on the move. The dealership has parked at the corner of Main and Bay Streets for 69 years, but business is suffering, and owner Michael Dubois says it's time to move forward.
In the last 10 years or so, the downtown area really hasn't been a good retail environment. The reality is that people don't come into downtown to look at purchasing automobiles. They buy where they live.
Jeff Dubois is the fourth generation of his family to work at HMP. He says moving to the new location on Highway 53 and 20 produces mixed emotions in all who work here.
There's a bit of excitement and anxiety. I mean, some of them have been here for 30 and 35 years, so this has been the only home they've ever known in their working life. So it's a bit of a change, but by the same token, you know, they're looking forward to it.
Darko Vranich, a Burlington developer, has bought this federal building behind me, and he plans to turn it into a condominium. Now, he's also bought HMP, and his plan is to demolish this building and build a Hilton hotel with underground parking.
But I think we can put that corner to far better use than a car lot.
Mayor Larry Deanne welcomes new residential and commercial development at the corner of Main and Bay, but he says it's too early in negotiations with the developer to comment on what will happen here. In the meantime, the mayor is not pleased with the reason HMP is moving: downtown deterioration.
And for someone to sort of take a bit of a cheap shot at the last moment as they're walking away isn't dignified. I wish him well in the other part of the city.
Dubois cherishes the downtown memories, but he says the future is on the mountain. Cindy Chordash, CH News, Hamilton.
Well, plenty of commotion in East Hamilton this afternoon. Here's what's left of a mattress, the source of that blaze that had the residents evacuating an apartment building on Barton near Covington. The building's maintenance man tried to put it out. He managed to limit the damage by keeping the bedroom door closed. The heat was intense enough to shatter windows. An electrical fault sparked this blaze. Damage estimate, $20,000.
It's one of the most recognizable landmarks along the QEW. I'm Fred Anderton with the story of the old ship in Jordan Harbor, because you asked Niagara.
Well, Mother Nature is going to be creating some acrimony this evening, we understand. Matt Hayes standing by to tell us about that. Matthew, a little sparky activity out there this evening, maybe.
That's right, and I was going to wish you happy fall, but I'd be about 3 minutes premature. So I will wish you happy fall the next time I see you, but definitely Mother Nature knows that fall is on the march, because a cold front coming through will make a significant change in our temperatures for tomorrow. Showers and thunderstorms ushering in that cool change. A lot of cloud tomorrow, but we'll see a few sunny breaks for our first full day of fall. And yes, those temperatures will be a little bit cooler. All the details coming up later in the show. Right now, Dan, back to you.
All right, thanks, Matt. And we're not the only ones getting wet tonight. New Orleans is under a tropical storm warning as the fringes of Hurricane Rita hit the flood-ravaged city. But here is where the storm is expected to make a landfall. Full force on Saturday. This is a live look at Galveston, Texas. Jay Gray now with the latest on the evacuation taking place there.
Right now, it is a flood of evacuees making the biggest waves along the Gulf Coast. Thousands are bailing out as Rita barrels in.
90% of our residents have left the island. It feels like a ghost town.
The storm has shifted its target a bit, but Galveston is still in the danger zone. There's a mandatory evacuation order here, but not everyone is leaving.
Y'all gotta make y'all's own decision, but when you see that...
Firefighters could not convince about 20 senior citizens to leave this retirement center.
This building isn't gonna collapse.
Those who are still behind are boarding up and keeping a close eye on the track of the storm.
Hopefully it'll move a little bit further north between now and the time that it actually hits.
Rita does seem to be making a turn, the worst possible news for Louisiana, already battered by Katrina.
We must move our people. Everyone in coastal areas south of I-10 must evacuate.
The damage will no doubt be severe. This is a massive storm. But the emotional hit may be even more intense, especially for those who have been on the run for almost a full month now.
I wish I would just lay here and die. I went through Katrina, and it was a nightmare. It's still not over.
In fact, the worst from Rita is still to come. And even if there is no direct hit, this area could still see some very severe conditions, strong hurricane winds, and worries about water that could come up over the seawall. In Galveston, Jay Gray, NBC News.
It is about to become the first day of fall, and it won't be long now before the leaves start to turn. And one of the most beautiful places to see the autumn colors is hiking along the Bruce Trail. CH's Annette Hom tells us a Hamilton woman has been leading groups of walkers along that trail for the past 3 decades.
They call themselves the Happy Hikers, and once, twice, sometimes 3 times a week, you can find them walking the Bruce Trail. From Brant County through Hamilton and into Niagara and Halton, they'll hike for an hour or 2, enjoying the trail and each other's friendship. And for 30 years, Liz Lesser has been their volunteer leader.
Occasionally we meet people that we would say go forth quietly but make a loud impact, and I would suggest that Liz Lesser is one of those people.
Liz is a retired teacher who years ago suggested hiking the Bruce Trail as an idea for adult continuing education. She's been using the trail as her informal classroom ever since.
Every year the trails change and I meet new people, and it's been a wonderful introduction to Hamilton and all these excellent locations.
Over the years, she's guided and listened to hundreds of hikers along the trail. Some have been walking with her from the very start.
I enjoy it. I enjoy the companionship with the others, and it's good for health reasons, keeps you in shape.
Through the Happy Hiking group, I found places in Hamilton Wentworth region I didn't know existed, and I've lived here for 35 years.
For now, Liz says she has about as many happy hikers as she can handle, but you can still check out the trails for yourself or as a group by logging on to brucetrail.org. Annette Hom, CH News, Hamilton.
And while drivers panic about price hikes at the pumps, the price of crude actually fell today on expectations that Rita won't ravage oil rigs as much as previously feared. Here are the figures at the sound of the closing bell. Crude did in fact drop 30 cents to $66.50 U.S. a barrel. In Toronto, the TSX slipped 86 points on the day. And in New York, the Dow Jones went the other way, rose 44. NASDAQ a gainer too, just a bit though, 4 points. And the Canadian dollar dropped fractionally to close at 85.43 U.S. Rock star contestant Susie McNeil came to CH-TV today. Wendy Wolf has got that story tonight on Showbuzz.
I'm Alex Reynolds. Air turbulence turns into suspense during an international flight. Jodie Foster deals with a puzzling event in flight plan. On screen tomorrow. My review just ahead on CH News.
26 days unoccupied.
CH News was there in Niagara Falls when the Premier announced plans for $1 billion hydro tunnel. CH News was there in Hamilton to test drive candidates for the Worst Roads contest. And CH News was there in Halton when a police officer cycled across the region to raise money for Crime Stoppers. Join CH Morning Live daily 6 to 9 for news, weather, and traffic, and follow up with CH News at noon. CH News is closer to you. Hair by Madison Avenue, 169 Locke Street, South Hamilton. Gift certificates available for all occasions.
It is Thursday night and time for this week's edition of You Asked Niagara. Fred Anderton journeyed to Jordan for tonight's segment, a journey that's piqued the curiosity of many of you out there.
In 4.5 years of doing You Asked, Dan, we've seldom revisited a site. But the number of questions we keep getting for tonight's subject demanded we take a second look. And we promise we'll show you a side of a familiar site you've never seen before. It's one of the most recognizable landmarks along the Niagara stretch of the Queen Elizabeth Way. Many viewers would like to know the story behind the shipwreck in Jordan Harbor. This is how the ship looked when you asked about it 3.5 years ago. It was called Le Grand Ermine. The ship was a 140-foot replica of the largest of 3 ships French explorer Jacques Cartier used to sail to Canada. The wooden facade was built on the steel hull of a 77-year-old Quebec ferry when it was converted to a bar and restaurant for Expo 67 in Montreal. At one time, the vessel was turned into a haunted pirate ship at Halloween to raise money for a hot lunch program for students. 2 years ago, kids turned up the heat on the ship in Jordan Harbor. They lit a fire, apparently trying to keep warm on a cold winter's night. Unfortunately, the fire got out of control and a piece of history went up in smoke. Fritz Leutsch, a restaurant designer and builder who lives at the nearby Beacon Harbor Resort, says the ship wasn't originally destined for Jordan Harbor, but ended up here after getting tangled up in red tape.
The ship was brought down from Montreal by a gentleman that wanted to use it as an interim casino in Chippewa. And until he got permission to do that, he harbored it here. Unfortunately, his dream died with him. He passed away a couple of years ago, and since then we've had the ship around.
Fritz, who took us out on a boat for a different perspective of the ship, admits he too had dreams about the vessel.
Well, I mean, I'd like to sail it, but that's not possible.
Others have had perhaps more practical plans for the ship.
There are people from the States that wanted to use the ship. He's a marine owner and wanted to sink it out there for diving purposes. There's also a group from Hamilton that wanted to restore the ship and bring it to Pier 4 for observation and recreation.
But here she sits, grounded in Jordan Harbor. And while it may look like it's ready for the scrapyard, it's still a magnet for passers-by.
We have quite a few from the States, all over the world, that come and stop and take a picture of themselves with the boat. It's a landmark for us here at the Beacon Harbor side. People can find us a lot easier by the mast that it has, and that's what we like.
And motorists would miss it almost as much as the good people at Beacon Harbor. If you have a question for You Asked, here's how you can reach us at CH. Keep those questions coming. We appreciate your curiosity. We'll be back next Tuesday night at this time with our regular segment, and 1 week from tonight with another edition of You Asked Niagara.
All right, thanks, Fred. A lot of people asking about that ship. All the names of the first about 20 of them up there, and some that even get on.
Yeah, I don't think it's going too far in the near future.
I don't think so. I think it's destined to be an anchor, not a ship anymore.
That's
anyway,
right.
Looking at the weather outside, and actually it was raining a little while ago. I looked at the window and it was raining. What's up with that?
It has been off and on. Actually, they're getting heavier rain and some reports of thunderstorm activity down London-Sarnia way.
Really?
So with that weather is coming in our direction. Let's take a look at our maps and see what is going on. Temperatures right now 19 to 20, 23 degrees in Niagara Falls, 25 still into Rochester. Wherever the cold front hasn't gone through, you're starting to see some warmer temperatures. As we go to our 3D weather watch and our satellite radar shot, as I'm saying, London and Sarnia right now getting hit with a series of thunderstorms. You can see some of this activity moving into position. They are getting wind gusts up to 90 kilometers an hour, so that can create some damage damaging winds. And as well, they're looking at the potential of 50 millimeters of rain in an hour. So that's some pretty intense rain. So that system coming in our direction. So we could be looking at some active weather overnight tonight. Definitely we're going to see a continuation of wet conditions for this evening. By the way, happy fall. It is now official. We've now been a few minutes into it, and temperatures on their way down with this cold front moving through. Tomorrow we're on the other side of the cold front, but just. And that means we're still going to be getting a little bit of kickback in the form of some cloud cover. Ridge of high pressure will start to dry things out into the afternoon, giving us some sunny breaks. Down 11 to 16 degrees overnight tonight. Tomorrow we're looking at periods of sun with temperatures 19 to 20. Showers and thunderstorms into Halton tonight at 14. Tomorrow sunny periods and 19 for Halton. And the same situation into Niagara with temperatures slightly warmer at 20 degrees. Coming up in about 20 minutes, we'll take a look at the 5-day right now. Let's see what's coming up on CH News at 6.
Well, Matt, still ahead on CH News at 6 tonight, renewing an historic rivalry. Ken will tee up tonight's Leafs-Canadiens matchup in sports.
I'm on The Apprentice on Thursday night, and it's really big.
I have my version of The Apprentice on Wednesdays.
My hair is known all over the world.
You got me there.
The Apprentice season premiere. Tonight at 9, 8 Central on Global.
Even after 10 years, he recognized me instantly.
New Rock Protein Fortify with DMAE. Protein Fortify improves the skin's look of firmness and elasticity, so your face contour appears redefined.
I haven't changed.
Rock, we keep our promises.
Aurora introduces 2 exciting new bouillon flavors, basil, garlic, and herbs. Keeping with a tradition of great flavor and quality, they enhance the flavor of everything from soups and salad to chicken, pasta, and even potatoes. And you still have so many other delicious Aurora bouillon flavors to choose from. There really is no limit to what you can create. Inside every box of Aurora bouillon is a world of possibilities. Aurora, create your own masterpiece.
Well, if you're just getting home, here is a look at some of tonight's top stories on CH News at 6 o'clock. Patience running thin for insolvent Stelco. Justice James Farley is extremely frustrated with the Hamilton steelmaker, who has been operating under bankruptcy protection for well over a year, almost 2 years now. If the company does not wrap up agreements with shareholders tonight, it could be the end of the steel company. Drivers around the Golden Horseshoe experiencing panic at the pumps. The anticipated wrath of Hurricane Rita has sent gasoline prices soaring again. People are lining up for up to 45 minutes and are reporting prices as high as $1.50 per liter. And hundreds of thousands of Houston area residents are driving inland to escape the anticipated wrath of Hurricane Rita. Forecasters predict Category 4 storm to hit southwestern Louisiana by tomorrow, with winds howling over 240 kilometers per hour. And next on CH News at 6, the latest local health news. We'll be right back after this break.
First thing in the morning, our space expert Rob Godwin joins us after hobnobbing last night in Washington with Tom Hanks and Buzz Aldrin and many others. It's Apollo 11 in IMAX 3D. Actually, all the Apollo missions. It's amazing. We'll give you a sneak peek.
We'll learn more about bacterial meningitis, a preventable childhood disease that most parents can't identify. And Laura's going to give us a preview of the Niagara Grape and Wine Festival.
It's CH Morning Live. See you bright and early.
Turning to the health news tonight, a reminder from Hamilton Police about the dangers of Jimson weed. This is what the plant and the seeds look like. Police say that each year a few young teens are inclined to eat the seeds because of their hallucinogenic qualities, but that can kill or seriously result in injury. Recently, an 18-year-old was treated in hospital after swallowing some Jimson weed seeds.
When you ingest the seeds, the more you take, the more serious the problem. You can hallucinate, your heart starts beating faster, and if not treated right away, this could lead to death in some cases, either by the seeds themselves or by the side effects when you're hallucinating. You may do something that could put yourself at risk.
A new medical discovery complex opens its doors at McMaster University today, and it's expected to put Hamilton and Canada on the international map. This morning, Mac officially opened the new $71 million research facility, the Michael G. DeGroote Center of Learning and Discovery. That learning and discovery will be conducted in gene research and how it can be used to fight cancer, AIDS, and viral diseases.
I'm very proud of this building. I think it's very important to everybody. There's an awful lot of sick people out there that need help, and I think the research will help many of them.
I'm Wendy Wolf. Lots of excitement here at CH. Susie McNeil from Rockstar in Excess was sitting in this very chair today. We'll hear from her and Jodie Foster coming up in Showbuzz.
From rock star to flower power, only on Smith & Hayes did you see Susie McNeil get down and dirty in the garden.
It was a little relaxation therapy after all those weeks in the mansion. That was today. Coming up tomorrow on Smith & Hayes, from punk rocker to political pundit, Warren Kinsella has a new book.
And look up in the sky. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's Reptile Man.
Tomorrow on Smith & Hayes.
See you at 12:30.
Well, as you just heard, Susie McNeil, one of the Final Four in Rockstar in Excess, was in Hamilton today, and CH's Wendy Wolf has that story and all of the day's entertainment news now in Showbuzz.
First of all, I have to sort of ground myself and learn how to do the dishes again and make meals for myself.
After a whirlwind 3 months, Toronto's Susie McNeil is adjusting to life as a civilian with rock star status.
Even though you didn't win, you're still a star to a lot of people.
Yeah, I think that's really nice. There's a lot of fans out there saying some amazing things.
But in the beginning, many people thought sweet Susie McNeil was actually mean.
The very first episode, my family was very upset about because there's something that I'm talking to Marty about his voice, and I really come across as a, am I allowed to say bitch on TV?
Are you losing your voice?
No, my voice is always like this.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you gotten that checked out?
Despite how it may have looked, the contestants did all in fact get along, especially the Canadians. Susie and JD are both fiercely patriotic.
We talk about going up north and that weird song that comes on TV, it's like TV Ontario. We go rolling down the hot water. Yes! That's where the sea. And JD and I were singing it. We're like, what is that thing? That's like so Canadian.
Week after week on the show, Susie rocked the mic, often from the bottom 3. Her knockout performance of Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody solidified that hers is a voice that needs to be heard.
And there's been a lot of calls and a lot of talk about different things. Andrew Ferris from NXS has told me that he's very interested in working with me some way, shape, or form.
Susie also has some high-profile commercial spots coming up.
I'm the Marineland girl.
The Rockstar in Excess experience has lifted Susie to a new level of strength and confidence.
That's a good place to be going into this next phase of life.
What a cool chick. Someone else pretty cool is Jodie Foster. She stars in the thriller Flight Plan, marking her first starring role in more than 3 years. The 2-time Oscar winner reveals that she wasn't taking a break from Hollywood.
I have a hard time finding anything that appeals to me more often. And I'm not sure whether that's because of the material or whether it's just me, where I'm just really not ready to jump back again. I like my life, I like living my life.
I'm not a threat. I need to...
In Flight Plan, Jodie takes it upon herself to search for her daughter who goes missing on a plane flight. It's in theaters Friday. While he'll soon return as Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford is making other big screen plans. He's just signed on to star in a thriller called Manhunt. It's set during the Civil War. The film star has just wrapped production on a movie due out next year called Firewall. And finally, Catherine Zeta-Jones has closed her next movie deal. She's got the lead role in a romantic drama called Mostly Martha. The Oscar winner will be playing a high-profile chef. You'll see Catherine in theaters later this year, reuniting with Antonio Banderas in The Mask of Zorro.
And Catherine begins production on Mostly Martha in January. That's a wrap for Showbuzz. I'm Wendy Wolf. Have yourself a great night.
And as you just heard from Wendy, Jodie Foster back on the big screen in a nail-biting scenario, a mother and a lost child. It's a mystery in the air in the top drama called Flight Plan. CH's Alex Reynolds reviews that movie, which opens tomorrow.
You happen to see a little girl go by here? No.
I'm looking for my daughter. She's 6, my daughter. You probably saw us. I was carrying her aboard. She has sandy hair. She's probably carrying a chenille bear.
She's not in very good shape right now. She's scared of everything.
A routine flight from Berlin to New York. A sleeping Kyle awakes to a nightmare reality. The seat beside her is empty. Her 6-year-old daughter, Julia, has vanished. How is someone lost at 37,000 feet? What comes into question is the stability of Kyle's emotions, already rocked by the recent loss of her husband.
We don't have any record of your daughter ever having been on board.
Kyle may be deluded. The residual effects of deep grief. Is she losing her mind? Or is it imagination? It's a Hitchcock landscape. A detailed detailed search only uncovers disturbing evidence that Julia was never on
I'm
board.
looking for my daughter. Look, I know you're just trying to keep me calm. But the problem is not that I'm anxious. All right, the problem is that my daughter is missing, and nobody can tell me where the hell she is. She's on this plane.
Doubt and skepticism spreads as a desperate mother runs amok on the monster plane. Pressure cooker atmosphere prevails on the aircraft. Even though she's a propulsion engineer for the airline, Kyle's search through nooks, crannies, and maintenance shafts accessible only to the crew are a bit unrealistic, but serves the plot, keeping the intensity at nail-biting level.
Miss Pratt, I'm sorry, but I don't think that she's here.
What are you talking about?
The movie benefits from Jodie Foster's presence, noted for carefully picking and choosing roles with artistic integrity. She's done that again here. Flight Plan had me gripping the armrests. 3 reels out of 5, and that's my look through the lens. Alex Reynolds, CH Entertainment.
I'm Ken Welch. The Mac Marauders, are they in decline or on the rebound? And a rough start for Tiger and Freddie at the President's Cup. Those stories are coming up next in sports.
Tiger does.
Wardrobe provided by Jerry's, your destination for fine menswear since 1916.
Ken Welch joins us now with tonight's sports news, and Ken and I just talking about the fact that even though the strike went on for a whole year, it seems the Leafs can do no wrong. They get all kinds of coverage. The media pounce on them and everything they say and do.
It's preseason, and it seems more like we're in mid-season. But there must have been a lot of lonely, bored media people last year. But Maple Leafs and Montreal Canadiens renew acquaintances tonight at the ACC. The Canadiens have won both of their preseason encounters, while the Leafs have split 2, losing to Ottawa and beating the Bruins here at Copps Coliseum the other day. Pat Quinn and the coaching staff have whittled down the group of players to a core of about 26, from which the final roster is expected to come. The collection includes veteran Steve Thomas and Brian Marchment, 42 and 37 years old respectively, plus Jason Allison. The free agent acquisition has yet to play because of a hip flexor injury, but in Toronto, hockey's mecca, the media wants some lip about that hip.
They want to see me play all 82 games this year, and I mean, they're just being extra precaution with this, just to make sure they don't have any relapses.
Allison has had his own problems with whiplash and concussions in the past, and now a good friend of his is set to retire because of post-concussion syndrome. 30-year-old Adam Deadmarsh, a former teammate of Allison's on the LA Kings, suffered 2 serious concussions near the end of his 10-year career. Deadmarsh was a member of Colorado during the Stanley Cup run in 1996. Well, for those who witnessed Western's demolition of the Mac Marauders last Saturday, it's hard not to think that the McMaster football program ain't what it used to be. The Laurier Golden Hawks are hoping to expose more cracks this Saturday afternoon when they meet in Waterloo. And right now, the Marauders might be vulnerable. Second-team All-Canadian Jeff Robertshaw is questionable with knee and shoulder problems. Linebacker Eugene Bawacki, who was the leading tackler in the nation after 2 games, will sit out with a separated shoulder. And quarterback Adam Archibald is listed as a game-time decision because of a bruised sternum. So former QB John Behe, who is just returning from a shoulder injury, will get the call if Archibald can't go.
Same old thing. I mean, this is the offense we were running last year when I was playing quarterback, so it's just getting back into it mentally more than anything else. But I know the routes and I know everything like that, so it's just being able to put the ball where it's supposed to be, I guess, right now.
Little boys, they're riding shotguns.
And I guess that's what these guys were trying to do, put the ball where it's supposed to go. It's the USA against the world, the 2005 President's Cup, teed off today in Manassas, Virginia. Canada's Mike Weir paired with South African Trevor Immelman against David Toms and Stuart Sink in foursomes competition. Weirzy Immelman dominant, winning 6 and 5, and that was a major boost to the internationals. Freddie Couples coupled with Tiger Woods against Retief Goosen and Adam Scott, and this duff in the rough by Couples on the 15th meant that to extend the match, Tiger had to make this shot. Boy, does he ever give it a good run, but not quite. Goosen and Scott win 4 and 3, and the internationals take day one 3.5 points to 2.5. We'll have more on that at 11 o'clock. And the Blue Jays will be going for a series split With the Mariners tonight, Gustavo Chacín among the front runners for Rookie of the Year honors, takes his 12-9 record to the mound for the Jays. And one game in the Canadian Football League, 5-7 Ottawa Renegades are in Calgary to play the 6-6 Stampeders, who of course just had a win over our Ticats the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just about everybody has this year, though, when you think about it. All right, another game coming up on the weekend. Thanks, Ken. When we come back, Matt will have our long-range weather forecast for us, get us through end of the weekend and out the other side into another work week, so stay with us. All right, 5-day forecast time. Matt is here with all the accoutrement to make that happen. So we're looking at a little bit of rain out there right now and perhaps more tonight.
That's right, and the 5-day will give us our first few days of fall.
Yes, it will. What about Sunday?
Well, I'm going to show you that in a minute.
All right.
And I'm going to get some distance from you first. All right, let's take... All right, temperature right now, 20 degrees. Yes, we have the rain falling outside. Winds are out of the west-southwest, 23, gusting to about 36 kilometers an hour. Humidity stands at 94%. Temperatures throughout the region anywhere from 21 to 23 degrees, 20 degrees right now into Hamilton. As we look at our satellite radar shot, I was telling you earlier about thunderstorm warnings. There is some active weather moving through London, Sarnia, some thunder, some lightning. There's the possibility of wind gusts to 90 kilometers an hour and the potential for 50 millimeters of rain in 1 hour in that area. And as you look at the later stage shots, you can see the yellow, the red area. That's where it gets quite intense. So we could be in for a somewhat wild evening as we move into our first evening of fall. This, as that cold front moves through, cold front will push off to the east tomorrow. Ridge of high pressure starts to follow in behind. It will take a good chunk of the day tomorrow to push this cold front further eastward. So we'll probably start off with quite a bit of cloud, and then we'll see more sunny breaks as we move further on through the day, as we start to put some distance on this cold front and start to see more of the effect of this ridge of high pressure. For tonight, temperatures down around 11 to 16 degrees for overnight lows. Again, we're looking at showers, the potential for thunderstorms overnight tonight. Tomorrow, the first full day of fall, and it's going to feel like it with readings 19 to 20 degrees. However, these are normal readings for this time of year. It's just that we haven't seen temperatures this cool, this fresh quite yet. Sunny periods during the day tomorrow, and we'll see increased sun as we move further on into the day. So for Halton tonight, we're looking at showers, thunderstorms down to 14, sunny periods and a high of 19 tomorrow. A little warmer tomorrow into Niagara with temperatures to 20 degrees. And our 5-day forecast showing for our first weekend of fall. Sunshine for Sunday and temperatures to 21. On Sunday, 26 and rain. And on Monday, we'll see some sunshine and 23 degrees. So there's still time for me to fix that Sunday. I think that might be a typographical error, actually. I'll work on that.
I'll go with that for the moment.
Okay, there's still time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We are not pleased.
Weather doesn't take rain very well.
No, it doesn't. No,
I know.
No. So the Leafs in Montreal tonight, you're going to have a score at 11?
Highlights and score,
Highlights?
and hopefully some post-game as well.
Who are you picking on that one?
It's preseason. It doesn't really matter, does it? I'll go with the Leafs. Why not?
A bold move.
Yeah.
Okay, we're decisive here on the desk. That's this edition of CH News at 6. Tonight at 8, a newcomer to CH, Joey, launches its second season, and later join Nick Dixon and Ken and Brian. CH News at 11, right after Queer Eye. Good night, everybody.
Good night.